Noon Report for Labor Day, a very special Labor Day edition of the High Noon Report. I do this every Monday through Friday, noon till whenever. Today it's a little late because, as I said, it's Labor Day. Now, we do have a problem. The eyeball of God is shining through right over my, what is this? You would be thinking this is my left, but it's more like my right shoulder. The sun is coming through, and it might be a problem for the next few minutes, so it's going to be a glare. I can tell it's already a problem for me. All right, we're looking for the chat room. Who's first in the chat room today? I know it's going to be a small show, a much sort of, Jeff's here. I'm not late. It's Labor Day, dude. The fact that I'm here, look at that. Now, my guy Jeff, who, by the way, first in the chat room. My guy Jeff, I'm late. That's the choice that he made. He made a choice to go with you're late, not, oh, cool, you're doing a show on Labor Day. Do you see the choices we make every day? These are the kinds of things we discuss. Well, first of all, what do we do here? We give you all the day's news, headlines, hot topics, current events, whatever it is people are buzzing about, we try and give them to you. But I try and present it in a different way. I try not to be, we're not politically divisive. We don't play that game at all. We don't get into, this is what you've got to think, and we don't do that. Now, I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. This whole world is confusing. So we just talk about this stuff. The chat room hashes it out, and then we move on to the next topic. That's what this is. It's one topic followed by the other. At the end of these 2 hours, every Monday through Friday, you should have a fairly good idea of what's happening in your world. Because once again, what is my great fear? My great fear for you is that you're going to run into that boring guy. You know, that guy at the office who's just like, he's like an energy vampire. He's the Colin Ferguson of your office. And he's just going to go, hey, did you hear about? And you're going to be nice. You're going to be like, no. And he's going to be like, oh, let me tell you about it. And you're going to be stuck hearing about some important event that's occurring in the world today. And your whole understanding of it is going to be filtered through Colin Robinson. And you don't need that. So listen to this show every Monday through Friday for 2 hours. I promise I'm going to get you caught up on everything that you need to know. Not going to be any Colin Robinson stopping you going, hey, did you hear about? Because you can say, yes, Colin Robinson, energy vampire. I did hear about that. And you can move on and you won't be rude. Okay, so that's what we do on this show every day. We run through all the things that have happened, all the things that, we run through all the things that are happening. That's the current events aspect of this show, the High Noon Report. But then before we do that, we go, we like to do a little thing where we previously on. We look at the history of this day. We look at some of the events that have shaped this day, or at least our understanding of it, and hopes that it will provide us some form of, clue as to what we might expect in the coming hours. We look for rhythms, we look for patterns, we look for things that seem to always happen around this time of year or on this particular day to maybe tell us a little bit about what's happening in the next few hours. Okay, so events, then we do birthdays, and then we judge people's lives. Then we do people who died on this day, are they going to heaven or hell? So after we do the events, after we do the birthdays, and after we do the heaven or hell, then we move seamlessly and without care, because we feel we have an understanding of what this day has meant and represented, then we move into the events of the day. So if you're with me, I think we can get started. All right, who's in the chat room? Let me pay a little attention to the chat room. My Labor Day chatters, you freaking guys. Seriously, I was like, maybe I should just record this. Maybe I should just, is anybody going to be doing anything today? I know you can take the show with you, but people, this is the day for family. This is the day for fun. Not me, although it is my kids' weekend. I have my son this weekend, so we did a lot of stuff. Actually, we didn't do a lot of stuff. What did we do this weekend? Trying to think. So he's at that age now where just because, I get him for the weekend, it doesn't mean. See, when he was 5 or 6 or whatever, younger, and you'd get him for the weekend, it was just all about building forts in the living room and playing hide and seek. And you know what I mean? You could, now he's a teenager. Now he gives me this. I'm like, what do you want to do this weekend? He's like, I got to go spend 8 hours at the rec center on Saturday. I'm like, what? It's my day. We're supposed to just be you and me staring at each other in a dark room. That's what this is. So we went to the rec room, but I get that. He's a teenager. They hang out at the rec room. He's in high school now. His Saturdays are going to be spent at the mall and all that. I mean, sure, he's going to be sleeping with me at my place, but that's on me. That's on me to make sure that his social life and all that isn't disrupted. So Yeah, didn't really do anything. I dropped him off at a rec center on Saturday at like noon, picked him up at like 6. We made hamburgers. and then he watched YouTube for 5 hours. What? Teenagers. I'm serious. What happened to my little buddy? I mean, I still like him. He's kind of a cool teenager. It's like, it's kind of neat having a cool kid around the house. Hey, the cool kid likes me. You know what I mean? But he's not my little guy anymore. He doesn't do the fun little guy stuff that we used to do. Ugh. We watched some OJ stuff, though. I did get him to watch some stuff. For some reason, I am binging. By the way, welcome to the Labor Day edition of the High Noon Report. For those of you who are uninitiated, maybe checking it out for the first time, one of the things you need to understand is that this show is going to jump around a lot. Why? Because this is the narcissistic ramblings of a crazy man. Hi, that's me. And I give you all the day's news. And I also give you everything that pops into my head, because this show is a 2-hour daily stream of conscious mess. It is. Oh, look at that. Hey, I need somebody in the company that handles this. You need to right now trademark conscious mess. Isn't that good? That describes this. This is a stream of conscious mess. That's what I'm going with. So, I'm going to jump around. So if you're uninitiated, you're like, man, this guy, 2 hours, and we're trying to talk for 2 hours with no breaks, no commercial interruptions, no music, no nothing, just no filter, just whatever it is that pops in my head. Most of the time, it's going to pertain to events of the day. So you're going to get my completely unfiltered thoughts on things. But other times, I'm going to jump around to weird things, like the dog. Hi, baby. The dog is here. Hi, dog. Dog is CeeLo. She's trouble. She's a Catahoula. But we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about. Get out of there. No. Go in your chair. She's trying to get where all the wires are. Go in your chair. Come on. You just need to go in your chair. Here, let's see if we can focus on the dog a little bit. What you doing, girl? There she is. What are you doing? You need to get out of there. You need to go lay down. She needs to go lay in her chair. See, that's her little chair right there, right next to her bowl. She likes to sit there and watch the show. No, do not. This does not mean come lay. Look, now she's rocking the light. Whoa, how come dogs can't back up? She can't back up. She gets into a place and she doesn't know how to back up. All she knows how to do is cause more mayhem by going forward. All right, we're back. There you go. Oh, yeah, there she is. There she is. She's climbing into her bed. All right, you going to stay there for the show? You going to be my little co-pilot? All right, that's her. That's CeeLo. She's a Catahoula. She's a really bad dog, but we love her. She's a really bad dog. Oh, my God. She's so bad. But, if you didn't have a bad dog, having a bad dog is kind of fun. It's like character. It makes it when she's sweet, like, because she's really sweet. She's a really bad dog, but she's also really sweet. And she'll do something really bad. And then like a couple of minutes later, after she's been in trouble, she will be really sweet. Like she'll try and climb on your lap. And she's like 70 pounds. She's huge. I don't know. She's a big dog. She's all muscle. And she tries and climb on you and she'll fall. She's trying to put her little head on your. She's adorable. Doesn't mean I don't hate you, though. Doesn't mean there aren't times. All right. What do you say we get started with today's show? Oh, I should mention this. Okay. Here we go. Boom. There you go. Today's show is executive produced. Oh, no, that's not it. We don't need that. I need this. Nope, don't need that one. That's the other show we do, Radio Misfits. Today's show is executive produced by Christina P., Leslie C., and Mike D. They tipped a little something. They dropped a little something in the coffers that keep this show going. We are at the end of the month. We need about $100 more. we are really short this month. So anything you can do, tip during this show. I'll leave the tip thing up, but we do need a little bit more. If you could drop a little something, treat me like I'm your bartender, treat me like I'm your whatever, your pizza delivery guy, your valet parker. Drop a little something. If you support this kind of talk radio, non-political, non-divisive, just over the fence post, neighbors being neighborly. That's what we're trying to recreate here. So help the show if you can. I'm going to leave that up. But thank you again to Christina, Leslie, and Mike, who all came through on Friday. Remember, I said we need to make like $35 a show. That's it. That's like, that's like nothing. That's 4 people. 5 people tipping. Well, okay, wait a second. Now it's time for math. That's 7 people giving only $5. And, $5 is easy. Well, I shouldn't say. Anyway, let's move off that and let's deliver the show that you've been promised, right? Boom, we'll put that up. That's your way to do it. Let's get started. It is the High Noon Report with me, Pugs Moran, for the 4th day of November. I almost said November. For the 4th day of September, year of our Lord, 2023. September the 4th, Labor Day, I'll have you know. We got 247 of these days down. That's right. It's the 247th day of the year. There's 118 days remaining. So get those New Year's Eve plans started. All right. The first segment that we like to do on this show, we call it Erstwhile on This Day. It is, if you're so inclined, previously on. Oh, by the way, I know I was mentioning, I'm getting my son into the whole OJ story. Remember I said he did watch some OJ stuff with me. I don't know how this happened. But I was triggered into watching something. Oh, I watched the 30 for 30, June 17th, 1994. You know, 30 for 30, those ESPN documentaries, they're so good. I love those. 30 for 30, I watched I was watching June 17th, 1994, and the kid comes into the room. He's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, I'm watching a documentary about the most, impactful, the biggest day in American sports history, June 17th, 1994. He's like, "What's so big about it?" And then, I'm like, well, there's this happening, NBA Finals. The Rangers won the Stanley Cup. Arnold Palmer shot his last round of golf. The World Cup opened in Chicago, in America. And, OJ did his white Bronco chase. So we're watching that. And then that led into me starting to watch OJ Made in America, which is like a 4-part documentary series that I started watching after that. I'm like 2 episodes in. I've seen it before. Man. So here's my great crux in life. I think I have access to everything. Like I've got TV. I got like Hulu. I got Netflix. I got it all. I have friends with passwords if there's something that I absolutely need to see. So I decided that I wanted to watch The People versus O.J. Simpson. Remember The People versus O.J. Simpson? I think it was Cuba Gooding Jr. as O.J., David Schwimmer as Robert Kardashian. I don't remember anybody else, but it was good. It was really good. It was a Ryan Murphy. I think it was on FX. It won every award. It's like one of the most award-winning miniseries of all time. The People versus O.J. Simpson. It's great. I don't know. It was probably 10 years ago. I watched it 10 years ago. I liked it. And I decided, I'm like, hey, this is something that maybe me and my kid could watch. You might get into this. Because this might be fun. This might be something he'd be willing to watch. Because he seemed to be kind of interested in the whole OJ story. He goes, so was he good as a running back? He said to me, was he good as a running back? And I'm like, yeah, man, if he didn't murder 2 people, he'd probably be revered on the Mount Rushmore of running backs. Yes, he is one of the greatest of all time. Yes. So that was kind of hard for him. He's like, but he murdered 2 people, huh? And he's still walking around. So anyway, if anyone knows where I can find The People versus O.J. Simpson, the miniseries, the drama, not any of the documentaries. If anybody knows where I can find The People versus O.J. Simpson, is it on a platform? I haven't seen it anywhere. All right, thank you very much. That's all we needed to do. So that's the reason for the O.J. reference earlier. I'm interested. And by the way, I think he totally did it. I mean, I do. I don't think there's any doubt. Moving on. All right, let's do a little erstwhile on this day, or previously on September the 4th. On this day in 1781, Los Angeles is founded. Hey, happy birthday, Los Angeles. It was founded, by the way, the original name of Los Angeles, El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles. Probably pronounced that all kinds of wrong, but I was trying to be respectful. Try that again. Los Angeles is founded as El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles. I'm sticking with it. Go ahead. Call me a racist because I have difficulty pronouncing foreign words. Why they gotta be foreign? Just any foreign definition of foreign, something unfamiliar to you. Those words, that was unfamiliar to me, and the pronunciation was difficult. That's my explanation, not racism. On this day in 1957, during the American Civil Rights Movement in Little Rock, the governor of Arkansas calls out the National Guard to stop black kids from trying to go to school. 1957. How many of your grandparents were voted for that ass? On this day in 1972, Mark Spitz becomes the first competitor to win 7 medals at a single Olympic Games. Mark Spitz, and his big, giant Tom Selleck 70s porn star mustache. Mark Spitz didn't really, I mean, I guess he I guess he kind of capitalized on it. I mean, I know who he is. But who didn't Phelps like destroy him? Like, or his record, not destroy him. I'm sorry. That's a terrible way to look at it. No, yeah. Phelps. Didn't you like 20 medals? I don't know what it was. I need some water. Yeah. Michael Phelps, he beat that record, I think. On this day in 1972, at the very same time that Mark Spitz was winning all those Olympic gold medals, on this day in 1972, The Price is Right premieres on CBS. It currently is the longest-running game show on American television. We just lost old Bob Barker. The show outlasted him. Who was the other guy? Who was the announcer? Remember? Wait. Yeah. Price is Right was, come on, that was him. Anyway, Gene Roddy. Was that it? Gene Roddy? Fort Worth, Dallas Fort Worth radio icon, Gene Roddy. Come on down. Isn't that him? I think that's him. On this day in 1998, 72 was Mark Spitz and The Price is Right. On this day in 1998, Google is founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin, two students at Stanford University. Now, programming makes us go, those guys, I hate that, whatever the program, the anti, there's a lot of hatred for things that are just programmed into us. Fact of the matter is, thank God this happened in 1998. Well, I would suck without Google. I would absolutely suck as a human being without Google. I'd be saying half-truths all the time. Other people as well. Do you think we got a problem with disinformation now? Imagine if there was no Google, if there was no way to just instantly fact check something some blowhard is saying. Google is one of the most important inventions in the history of humanity. Oh yeah, you don't get it because you're not looking at the big picture. Take the 30,000-foot view of the way Google and its availability to everyone has changed the world. We can find things. Take Google away. Google. Hey, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, close down Google for a day and then just watch the world implode. Google, born on this day in 1998. Look, those guys are tech bro billionaire a-holes, right? But hey, you can't take away. Google is great, man. Okay? They did something. They're not like Wall Street bro D-bags. Those guys don't do anything. Those guys just take advantage of situations and markets and then they manipulate things. Those guys are a. But the tech billionaires, I know that it's like, we gotta hate the tech billionaires. Okay, we can hate their influence and potentially how they're using their influence in 2023. But don't act like they didn't do anything because tech has changed this world. I think Elon Musk is a supreme D-bag, but thank God for Elon. Elon Musk has done a lot of cool things. Can't name any right now. Well, I mean, I love what he's doing for the space race. I love that. But before that, even like the whole, ability to use money through the internet, he pioneered that. And then cars. And he's just, look, I think all I'm saying is that there is a difference. And I hear a lot of hate for like the Google guys. Those Google guys. I'm like, yeah, okay. They might be D-bags now because they're like gross billionaires and do all kinds. But let's not pretend like they didn't do anything, okay? Because they did kind of do something. So we do a little bit. There you go, a little bit of applause. All right, let's move into some birthdays. Buonam, buonam, buonam. They claim it's their birthday. Buonam, buonam, buonam. I can't play music. I don't have music rights. Sometimes I decide to play music just because, big F you to the man. Fine, you want to black out this stream? Whatever. But I have noticed that is a bit of a problem. All right, some birthdays. Some people born on this day. Born on this day in 1846. I'm going to throw this man's name out there. You probably don't know him, but to people like me, he is a hero. Ladies and gentlemen, born on this day in 1846, the great Daniel Burnham. The great Daniel Burnham, American architect. Here's why Daniel Burnham is a badass. And I'll do it quickly because I can talk forever about Daniel Burnham. I'm a bit of a burnhead. Daniel Burnham built Chicago. Daniel Burnham built Chicago into what it is today architecturally in the way the city is laid out and the way it's so convenient to get around. But most importantly, Daniel Burnham did something that no other architect, no other urban planner of any other city in America had done before, and that is ignore the lakefront. Not ignore the lakefront, but not turn the reason the city exists, because look, this is the reason the cities exist. The earliest cities in America existed because they were water ports, because you could trade there, because you could send things across bodies of water from somewhere else. So the Great Lakes were a big deal. And so Chicago turned out to be a major trading post, right? But here's what happened to Chicago. Chicago was just like New York. It was just like Boston. The harbors were all industrialized, and they were using them to create, an economy and all of that. Chicago burned down. All of a sudden, Chicago just burned down to the ground. After it was already a burgeoning major American city, the whole city burned down. And they brought in Daniel Burnham. And by that point, Chicago's economy wasn't necessarily being driven by waterport access anymore, but it was being driven by the railways. Chicago was central in the United States, so it became America's rail hub. All major rail lines ended in Chicago. You could go, when the West opened up, you could go from Chicago all the way out to California through. Anyway, so once that became a thing that Chicago was going to be and the water wasn't important anymore, Daniel Burnham made a rule in his rebuilding of Chicago that you couldn't industrialize the waterfront. So Chicago is the only major American city with a waterfront that has beaches right there downtown, that has parks, that is for the public. The entire waterfront of Chicago is all marinas, and you don't see that anywhere else. I mean, San Diego has a very nice, but San Diego's got a lot more waterfront. San Diego's got a very nice little marina area and all that, but the other half of it is a naval base. I mean, so Daniel Burnham, born on this day, he did a really good thing. It's why we have those gorgeous views of Soldier Field during football games with little sailboats out there in the water. Instead of, if you were looking at a waterfront stadium in New York, docks and freighter ships and giant smokestacks, right? Daniel Burnham. Born on this day in 1913, we're celebrating Mickey Cone. Mickey Cone's a bad guy. Mickey Cone, I don't know why I gave him applause. You know how I like my gangsters. We do gangster stories. Mickey Cone. Okay, I guess this would be the easiest way to explain it without going into great detail about who Mickey Cone is. Did you ever see the movie Bugsy? With Warren Beatty and I think Annette Bening. Okay, so Harvey Keitel played Mickey Cone. Harvey Keitel in that movie was Bugsy's right-hand guy, Bugsy Siegel, who basically built Las Vegas and ran, or at least had a lot of control over Los Angeles. For the underworld back in those days. If you saw the movie Bugsy, you know that Bugsy got killed. And so his right-hand man, Harvey Keitel, or Mickey Cone, he became sort of the godfather of Los Angeles for the next 30 years. Mickey Cone in 1950s and 60s Hollywood, he's referenced in movies. He hung out with celebrities. Mickey Cone, born on this day in 1913. Bad guy. Not a good guy. What do they got? They got Mickey Cone and Bugsy Siegel were referred to as the Kosher Nostra because they were Jewish guys, but they were working for the Italian-run organized crime organizations. Mickey Cone, part of the Kosher Nostra, born on this day in 1913. Born on this day in 1918, how about Paul Harvey, American radio host, Paul Harvey, and the rest of the story. I worked with Paul Harvey for 1 week. He was hiring people to go through his archives and organize his archives. And they put the word out to all the interns and all the radio students and all that stuff in Chicago. And I got picked and I got to work with Mr. Harvey for as I say, a week. But I think it was like, it was only like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we were done because I remember on Sunday, he took us all to lunch. That was nice. Yeah, I went through his archives. Paul Harvey's a legend. Paul Harvey's one of the, first ballot radio Hall of Famers. He was an old man and he was so nice. He was so famously Saturday Night Live. You remember Rich Hall? Rich Hall, who did Sniglets. Remember that guy? One of his recurring characters on the news was always his imitation of Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey, born on this day in 1918. He died in 2009. He was a cool old man. Born on this day in 1928, Dick York. He was one of the Darrens. He was the first Darren, Dick York. He was also Dick York. He was also in Inherit the Wind, which is a great movie about the Scopes monkey trial. Dick York, born on this day in 1928. Born on this day in 1941. One of my favorite guys. You can put it on the board. Yes. Boy, that got out of here now. Hurry now, didn't it, Wimpy? Ken the Hawk Harrelson, the voice of my Chicago White Sox for some 40 years. He didn't even die in the chair. He just said, I've had enough, which is fine because now we got Jason Benetti, who I love Benetti. But Hawk Harrelson, baseball legend, born on this day in 1941. Born on this day in 1956. How about a rock and roll legend, Blackie Lawless from Wasp? Come on! Blackie Lawless, born on this day in 1956. Born on this day in 1958, Drew Pinsky, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Drew. God, Dr. Drew, I've probably had Dr. Drew on my radio shows more times than anyone else. Now, we were working for the same company, so they would book him all the time. But we never said no. Why? Because Dr. Drew's a delight. Dr. Drew is an absolute, just a wonderful guy. Just like a really, really good dude. I don't know what else to say about him. All right, Dr. Drew. Everybody likes Dr. Drew. Born on this day in 1958. Born on this day in 1968. How about one of the great catchers of his era? Mike Piazza. Dodger and Mets legend, Hall of Famer, Mike Piazza. Born on this day in 1981. Here's a big one. Here's a real big one. The Queen Bee, Beyonce. Born on this day in 1981. I was at a Cowboys Thanksgiving Day game. I think it was Cowboys-Bears. I think it was Bears at Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And the halftime entertainment was Destiny's Child. And because of where we were sitting really close to like the 50-yard line, but for some reason, we couldn't see the stage. We were looking at the backstage of the Destiny's Child performance, and we had to watch it on the big screen. Well, it was fine. I mean, it was Destiny's Child. She wasn't really Beyonce yet. Destiny's Child was big, but, it wasn't like, you got to pay attention to this. It wasn't the Super Bowl with Beyonce. It was halftime at a Thanksgiving Day game with, Texas's own Destiny's Child. So I'm watching the performance, and I see a guy on the lighting rig. He's hanging. There's something wrong. Destiny's Child is on the stage, and you're like, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. They're doing whatever Destiny's Child did. They sang, I don't know. I couldn't name a song real quick, so I just went ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. So we're watching this guy, and he's hanging. He's like, oh, this guy's struggling. And then he falls. The dude falls like 30 feet to the ground. He fell from the back of the scaffolding. And then all of these people ran, and Destiny's Child is still doing booga, 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 booga. They're still doing their thing because this is going on behind the scenes. But we're watching this. We're watching the guy. They bring out the stretcher. They put him on the stretcher. He gives a thumbs up. The crowd goes nuts. Destiny's Child has no idea what the crowd is reacting to because they don't know what's going on. Anyway, happy birthday, Beyonce. That's my Beyonce story. I don't even know what happened to that guy. He gave his thumbs up, so maybe he's okay. Born on this day in 1981, Beyonce. If I ever met Beyonce, and I don't imagine I ever will, but if I did, I'd say, hey, you remember a dude fell from your scaffolding at a Thanksgiving game day? What happened with that guy? Maybe she'd know. On this day in 1982, Whitney Cummings. Whitney Cummings, American comedian, actress, producer, screenwriter. Boy, oh boy, here's her deal. She was kind of successful as a stand-up comedian, right? And then Hollywood saw her and went, a hot, funny chick? Let's fast track her. And they gave her own sitcom. It was terrible. And then they gave her another sitcom. It was terrible. She's a very attractive female comedian, which, you can market if you're Hollywood. But she's never really taken off. She never really caught. And what I understand is that other comedians hate her. Like she is supposed. But isn't this a thing? Isn't this? How many other comedians despise Amy Schumer? Other comedians despise Tig Notaro. Other comedians despise. That's always the rumor about female comedians. So, I don't know. But I guess there's a lot of dude comedians that other comedians despise as well. So Jim Gaffigan being one. A lot of comedians don't like Jim Gaffigan. So I don't know. Here's what I do know. Comedians are backstabby. And if somebody gets successful, they're probably, going to let their ego decide what the narrative is as far as how they feel about the individual. So Whitney Cummings gets trashed. I don't know why. I've never met her. Born on this day in 1982. Born on this day in 1984. One of my all-time favorites, Saturday Night Live people, although I do acknowledge he is entirely forgettable. There's probably who? What's that guy's name? I don't know. He's only on Saturday Night Live for 4 years. And every time he popped on, I would just start to laugh because there's just something inherently funny about the great Kyle Mooney. Kyle Mooney is awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for birthdays. So now we're going to do dead people. That's right. We enjoy this. This is our dead people game. This is where we look at someone's entire body of work, what they've done on this planet, and we decide if they're in heaven or hell. Yeah? You good? Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. All right. Thought I got a tip. Still no tip today. All right, that's all right. We decided these people are going to heaven or hell. Here we go. Ready? Dead on this day in 1986, Hank Greenberg, American baseball player and manager. Hank Greenberg is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the great ball players of all time. One of the Mount Rushmore of Jewish American athletes for sure. I think Mark Spitz was Jewish too, though. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think Mark Spitz, it's his birthday. We were talking about. No, it's not his birthday. It's the day he got 7 medals. I don't know. So who's on the Jewish athlete Mount Rushmore? We're not going to do Mark Spitz because I'm not even sure that he is, but we're going to certainly go with Hank Greenberg. Absolutely deserves to be there. Sid Luckman absolutely deserves to be there. Sandy Koufax absolutely deserves to be there. I know I'm probably missing a whole bunch of others. I don't know. Anyway, Hank Greenberg, I say you're going to heaven because you're an old school baseball guy. And by default, I tend to put you guys in heaven. Dead on this day in 1991, Dottie West, country music singer. Wasn't she like Kenny Rogers' girl? Wasn't she that redhead that Kenny Rogers was with? She's in heaven. Let's put Dottie West. Why would we not? She seemed very nice. Here's a guy who's definitely not in heaven. This guy lived a life. Well, first of all, he was dealt a really crappy hand of cards, but he bluffed his way through life, and quite frankly, he had a really good life. He had fun. I guess if you decide, was his life fun or was his life lame? Well, his life was filled with pain. There was a lot of pain, but also a lot of fun. Like he was kind of crazy. Dead on this day, Tattoo from Fantasy Island. That's right, Hervé Villachet. Hervé Villachet. My entire life growing up, I thought he was a little Mexican guy. I thought Hervé Villachet was a little Mexican guy. I'm like, look at the cute little Mexican. He's French. He's a Frenchman. He's like, that was part his accent was Spanish. I don't know. I was a kid. I didn't have much, but I always thought he was a Mexican guy. So here comes the question: is Hervé Villachet, is he in heaven or is he in hell? That dude is in hell, man. The stories about the way, the debauchery, he screwed people over. He took money for events and then never showed up. Whatever. He's Hervé Villachet. Like I said, we should all have been dealt that hand of cards and made it. Yeah, he made it. Dead on this day in 2006, Steve Irwin. Yeah, you know what? Just because you're stupid doesn't mean you don't get into heaven. Steve Irwin, he's famous because he made kids smile, so he goes into heaven. Steve Irwin was the alligator hunter, or what? Crocodile? Was he crocodile hunter? Was it? I think like there wouldn't have been a Steve Irwin if there wasn't a Crocodile Dundee, because like Crocodile Dundee in the 80s sort of set the stage for us accepting that Australian guys somehow had relationships with alligators, and then all of a sudden we got Steve Irwin. And for millennials, man, they all grew up with Steve Irwin. He was great. He's in heaven. Steve Irwin's in heaven. He died really stupid. No, he didn't. He didn't die stupid. He died as expected. Right? Again, we go back to Siegfried and Roy and the Tiger attack. The Tiger attack was supposed to happen. That's what you bought tickets for. You bought tickets to see a human being hang out on stage with a tiger. If somebody said to you, hey, go up on stage and stand next to that tiger, you wouldn't do it, right? Because you know what's going to happen. So those people who went to the Siegfried and Roy show, they saw what was everybody else who ever saw a Siegfried and Roy show got cheated. They didn't see what they were paying to see. You're paying to see, how is this guy can't hang out with tigers. And of course he couldn't. The tiger ate him. That's like Steve Irwin. Like Steve Irwin's whole bit was, look, I'll show him being able to put he's sticking his head in an alligator's mouth. G'day, look at me, eh? Look at me sticking my head in a crocodile. Oh, I shouldn't be able to do this. But he did. And he made a lot of money. Until one day, look at it. G'day, I'm going to get really close to a stingray. Shouldn't be able to do this. Shouldn't be. And that was it. So yeah. Anyway, he's in heaven. He made kids happy, Steve Irwin. Dead on this day in 2014, this lady's in hell. Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers is in hell because, look, I like Joan Rivers. That's a lot of, let's establish this. There's going to be a lot of people in hell that I'm going to like, okay? And there's going to be a lot of people in hell that you're going to like as well. So just, get off your high horse. Joan Rivers is in hell. She was mean to a lot of people. She was not a lovely woman. She was a very driven and a very kind of woman, all right? Joan Rivers, she's in hell. Dead on this day in 2018. Here's another one, Bill Daley. You guys remember Bill Daley? He's in heaven. I'm putting him in heaven. Roger Healy. Bill Haley was Roger Healy from I Dream of Jeannie. Major Anthony Nelson's best friend. He was also on the Bob Newhart show. He was like, when Bob Newhart played a psychiatrist, he was like one of his regular patients. Bill Daley is in heaven. And finally, preemptively, we're going to put this guy in heaven too. He's in heaven because although, now that I'm thinking this through, guys, he was into clowning. He was a clown. Yeah, and that's a problem, right? That's a red flag, certainly. So I'm dating this new guy, and he's really great. What does he do for a living? He's a clown. You know what I mean? That's like, no. And even back when this guy was a clown back in the 50s, when it didn't have the stink on it that it has now. The post-Gacy stink. The post-it, stink. Clowning is really taking a hit over the last 30 years. But so he was the original Ronald McDonald. Do you know who the original Ronald McDonald is? Because then we're talking about Willard Scott. Willard Scott went on to be the weatherman for the Today Show, made his name showing pictures of 100-year-old people. Look at this hottie. He put up a picture of like a 90-year-old, 100-year-old wallet. Just a Leatherface wallet. Look at her. Should look at day over 25. He'd say all that stuff. Willard Scott, good for him. Willard Scott, dead on this day in 2021. We put him in heaven. All right, there you go. Once again, I want to point out that today's High Noon Report is brought to you by Christina P., Leslie C., and Mike D. They all tipped the show last week. Last Friday, they got this show on the air. See, that's the thing. You tip a show, you got to do a show the next day. We still haven't received the tip. Don't know if I'm doing a show tomorrow. I don't like that we have to pitch this hard either, but we do. All right, let's move into all the things that are happening today, okay? This is going to be the rundown of all the events, stuff people are buzzing about. And quite frankly, I stopped looking up news stories today at around 12 o'clock. So, it's been an hour. If there's something big that's happening, feel free to jump into the chat room and let me know. Oh, by the way, I want to say hi to the chat room. I want to say hi. Leslie's here. Thank you, Leslie. Leslie's here. Jeff is here. Byron's here. Whitney is here. Sally, Mama Bella is here. Leslie is here as always. Jen Hernandez, my girl. She's working on homework. Frank Whitney. You guys, this is cool. Adam is here. Oh my God. No, Adam, I was late. You're not late. Adam's like, I was late. Or is Pugs late? No, I was late, dude. At 12:30. There was, things are going to be, and it was Labor Day. And I was like, maybe I'll do the show later in the day, thinking maybe more people. Oh, by the way, there is no comedy workshop tonight. So we may do a Radio Misfits show. I may just do a Radio Misfits show by myself tonight because I got stuff I want to go through. We might be able to kill some time. But why not? Streams. Any opportunity to get us across the wire this week, right? Or this month. Who else do we have in the chat room? Al is here. Hi, Al. My guy, Al. Leslie. Just about everybody in the chat room. Everybody in the chat room has hooked this show up this month. I can't thank you guys so much for helping us get through it. Ross is here. Fast Outdoor. What do we got here? There's no chat screen, huh? How about now? All right, let's see. Let me see if the chat's working now. Boom. There we go. Man, I apologize, you guys. Okay, if the chat room is now working, let's see if it's being shared. See, the problem is on these weekends when I have my kid, I have to break down the studio and I put it back together really quick, and sometimes I don't flip all the switches. All right, there we go. Thank you, Hugh. Come on, people. I am sorry. I'm an a-hole. That is terrible. I shouldn't have done that. All right, let's get into all the things that are trending today. It is Labor Day. I hope you're all enjoying your day off, and if you're working, hey, me too. Although I don't consider this work. And neither do my creditors. Jeez. I need water. That's a thing. I'm trying to drink. I'm trying to drink more water. And the water, oh God, it's just like it's humidity. That's all. It's just wet air. That's all right, let's get into it. So today is Labor Day. It's a big travel day. They are saying it is today. For some reason, they are expecting a larger than usual travel day. They reported this, and I don't know how this can be possible, but as far as travel goes, the NTSB says 54% of Americans will be on a road at some point today. I push back on that number. There's no way 54% of Americans will be on a road. Anyway, they're trying to say traffic is going to be really bad today. The worst times are going to be between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. as people, I guess, make their way back from lake houses and camping trips and Burning Man or wherever the hell it is that they are. So there you have it. So travel. Also, weather. We got some weather. Not so good news. Although this when I do weather like this, it's weather for us here in North Texas. We do this show from the beautiful 1%er compound in Highland Park, Texas. So we're only concerned really with what's happening in our area. And what's been happening in our area is just a slow bake. I'm telling you, everyone in North Texas looks like a shrinky dink right now. Everyone has been baking in an oven for 300 days, it feels like. All right, currently what we got here is not bad. We're currently looking at 98 degrees. Not bad. That's Stockholm syndrome. That's somebody who has been looking at 106, 107 degrees for the past 3 months, looking at 98 degrees and going, well, that's not bad. No, that's bad. 98 is bad. All right? Let's be honest. Anything over 90 is bad. Anything over 95 is bad. Anything over 90 sucks. Anything over 85 is uncomfortable. God. All right, so let's look at what we got. So we had the heat dome. They were talking about the heat dome. That was the problem. There was a heat dome, new word, never heard this expression before. There was a heat dome that came up across the Gulf of Mexico and out of Mexico and just sort of parked over Texas and just sat there for the last 3 months, causing just, like I said, the shrinky dink thing, where we're all like shrinky dinks in an oven. We're all a little bit melted. We're all a little. So that happened. And then suddenly there was a couple of days where it was 97, 98. Last night, it was actually cold. It was cold. It was freezing. Well, I had my air conditioner set to a crazy amount because it was 105 yesterday or whatever. Oh, and then yesterday, we had an event. And me and my boy, we celebrated. Oh, it rained for 10 minutes yesterday. It rained for the first time. I'm sitting in my room. I'm doing a little work. My kid's out in the other room. He's doing what he does, watch YouTube. I'm in the other room and I start hearing this. And it's a noise that I haven't heard in a while. And I'm like, what is that noise? And I get up and I look out the window and I see the pool. And I can see that there are drops in the pool. And at that very moment, I jump up. And as I jump up, I hear my kid go, it's raining. I go, it's raining. So we ran outside. We stood in the rain. It was only rain. I mean, it was such a weak ass rain. It just drizzled for 5 minutes. But good Lord, it was the first time. So we cooled down from the heat dome. We had no rain for the past, I don't know. When did it rain last? April? We haven't had any rain in forever. It's hot. And then it gets to be 98 and we're all like, oh, isn't this great? Well, the heat is coming back. That's right. It's going to be 100. It's projected to be over 100. Well, today it's going to go up to 102. So that's okay. Tomorrow it's going to be 103. Wednesday it's going to be 104. Thursday it's going to be 105. Friday it's going to be 106. And then the weekend, we're going to get to 98 again. It's going to be 98 both Saturday and Sunday. So I've had it with this. I got to go to another nighttime football game this week. My son's playing Thursday. I got to go to another nighttime football game this week. And the temperature at kickoff is expected, at least according to my thing, to be 102 degrees. Ah, God. And the sun's going to be going down. And it's still going to be on. I don't understand why people stayed here. Imagine the people who settled North Texas. Imagine the people who settled Dallas. I mean, it couldn't have been in August. It couldn't have been August when they went, we should stay here. It must have been November. It must have been November when they went, we could stay here. This is paradise. Let's see. What else do we have? Sorry. So weather is trending. Travel, weather. Steve Harwell. Here's some breaking news. Steve Harwell has died. Steve Harwell is the lead singer of Smash Mouth. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get the band and go. Hey. Steve Harwell. Also, the Shrek theme for like in multiple generations of kids. Smash Mouth and Steve Harwell, their cover of I'm a Believer from, the Monkees cover from the old days. That was used as the theme from Shrek, and that became a #1 hit. The Monkees didn't have a #1 hit with I'm a Believer, but Smash Mouth did. So, moving forward 100 years from now, when people hear that song, they'll be like, that's the Smash Mouth. See, this is how it happens. I'll say this about Steve Harwell, who died earlier this morning at 56 years old. Steve Harwell, I've interviewed Smash Mouth, or actually you should say Steve Harwell representing Smash Mouth, because Smash Mouth it was always Steve Harwell. He was a promoter, man. Nobody worked harder. Whatever your feelings are about Smash Mouth as a band, it doesn't matter. That dude was driven. The whole reason that Smash Mouth became a thing and then stuck around and they played everything, man. The Smash Mouth would come through town every year. They'd play your county fair. They'd play whatever. They'd open for the band at the stadium, and then they'd play whatever fest. I mean, they were driven. Steve Harwell was driven. A year and a half ago, it was Steve Harwell. If you remember, Steve Harwell was on stage in New York, and he had like kind of this breakdown where he started screaming profanities at the audience. And, they're like, we must cancel Steve Harwell for the things that he's, and all of this kind of stuff. Well, that was the last gig he ever played for Smash Mouth, because as it turns out, there was something wrong with him. There has been something he hasn't played. Steve Harwell has died in hospice this morning. Okay. He didn't die from, an overdose or whatever. That wasn't him. He was like a businessman. He was like, I'm going to make money off of this band no matter what we have to do. You may not find any artistic credibility in that, but as far as, being a hustler with maybe some moderate talent, an interesting voice, I think his voice was very good. Not traditionally good, but you hear the way he sings. He had a truly unique vocal style that fit. You hear a Smash Mouth song, that's Smash Mouth. You don't get it confused with any of the other bands that were like them, the Sugar Rays, or I don't know, Presidents of the United, I don't know, whatever. Smash Mouth singer Steve Harwell is dead at 56 years old after acute liver failure. The singer had retired from the band 2 years ago. Smash Mouth lead singer Steve Harwell died Monday at his home in Boise, Idaho. He had been in hospice care. Harwell had many health issues and died from acute liver failure. The all-star singer, who retired from the band 2 years ago, died peacefully, surrounded by family and friends. Steve Harwell was a true American original, Hay said, a larger-than-life character who shot up into the sky like a Roman candle. Let's see. Harwell retired from the band after a concert, and this is what I was telling you about, after a concert in upstate New York about 2 years ago, where he was heard slurring his words and making vaguely threatening comments towards the audience. During Harwell's tenure with Smash Mouth, the band sold over 10 million albums worldwide, had 2 #1 hit singles, and were nominated for a Grammy. The band is most known for hits like All Star, which is, by the way, genius. He wrote that song, or that song was, I think he wrote it. There was a plan with that song, with All Star. Steve Harwell was a big sports fan, and he was constantly thinking of ways to write songs that could be evergreen songs. And All Star was that. It was created for that very reason. He was like, you know what? Basically, this is too on the nose, but he's like, this song, if we do this right, this song could be used for all-star games in the future. And it has been. Everything's like, hey, now you're an all-star. It's been used a million different times, and he gets every single time. And he knew that. My God, I mean, his next song was probably going to be It's Your Birthday. I mean, the guy was always thinking of how to maximize whatever the profits were. The band is most well known for hits like All Star and their cover of the Monkees' I'm a Believer. which gained large international renown as heard on the Shrek soundtrack. Okay. So there you have it. Steve Harwell, Smash Mouth. He's dead. That's too bad. And again, not a very rock and roll death, liver failure. I mean, unless it was causing, maybe he was a drinker, maybe that's what it was. But he had other things. There was like a whole bunch of other things going on with him. He's been in and out of the hospital for years. It's always like Smash Mouth singer rushed to the hospital. Burning Man is trending. Burning Man is trending. That tech bro camping trip. Rich people. It's a rich people. Let's not kid ourselves. It started out as weirdos. Here's how Burning Man started out. A bunch of people in San Francisco who were super weird started doing this thing on the beaches in San Francisco. Then all these other weirdos started gravitating towards it, and they decided we need to move this out of here and we need a big space. So Burning Man became an annual event in the middle of the desert in Nevada, I guess, California. I don't know where. I don't even know where it is. I've never even been remotely intrigued to attend. It looks absolutely awful. Now, what Burning Man over the past 20 years has turned into something completely different, right? You look at what Woodstock was, and now look at what Coachella is, right? So things change. We figure out we're Americans, we're capitalists. We figure out ways to maximize profit, and all of a sudden, something that started out to be organic and cool, it turns into just a bunch of Burning Man is that. Burning Man is an absolute. It's just. If you tell me you go to Burning Man, I immediately go, this guy's a D-bag, because it's just such a stupid, self-involved, rich people. Look at us. We're rich people, but we're living in the mud. Well, and that's what they're actually doing now. Burning Man, people are trapped. 70,000 people are trapped in Burning Man. 9 day in the middle of the desert. Unfortunately, we had some storms this year, not here in Texas. Would have loved to have had some of them storms that created all that mud. But 70,000 people are believed to be currently trapped at Burning Man. They're running out of food. They have no water. They're trapped. They can't get out. Why can't they get out? Because everything is mud. Because they went in the middle of the desert. See, this is the thing. This is Siegfried and Roy. This is the tiger. This is the tiger finally doing what the tiger was supposed to do. This is the desert doing what the desert do. Okay. And it finally happened. These people, let's go to the most remote place in the desert and start a temporary civilization. Why are we doing it in the desert? Because it's dangerous and we're going to show how good we are at survival. Okay. And guess what? 70,000 people didn't game plan for what's happening right now, and they're all stuck. And it's hysterical. It's just hysterical. Idiots. There was a former Neil Cattell, former Solicitor General of the United States, is trapped in the middle of Burning Man with a bunch of his tech bro friends. It's hysterical. 70,000 at Burning Man Festival are isolated, still stuck as rain returns. There's already been one death, but Burning Man's CEO, see, Burning Man has a CEO. This is part of the problem. But Burning Man's CEO said the situation was not as dire as it's being portrayed. Here's the other problem. They got no cell service there. Here, let's look at this. We'll look at some pictures here. See what these people are going through, these idiots. Burning Man. Ugh. No, Pugs, you really don't get what happens at Burning Man. Burning Man is where all of our souls meld into one. It's a beautiful sort of exercise in coexistence, peaceful coexistence, to be sure.
At Burning Man. We're kind of screwed here.
Hold on. Damn it. My damn kid. Okay. Hold on. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you this. I think that my kid did something. Oh, gosh darn it. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to be able to show stuff? How do I take it off the speak, sis? Hold on, guys. I'm having a problem. So, there we go. I think we just fixed it. Yep. Okay. All right, we got it. Sorry about that, folks. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's watch this. Let's watch this report from I don't know. Okay. NBC News? I think this is NBC News. Here we go. Let's laugh at some people at Burning Man.
Tonight, chaos at Burning Man.
We're kind of screwed here.
Tens of thousands remain stranded after torrential rains led to a total lockdown of the annual festival in the remote Nevada desert. Dust turning to a mucky, messy mud.
The entire place is absolutely just soaked.
Authorities say one person died at the height of the storm. The
Cool, quirky sunglasses, D-bag. See what I mean? They're all just like, I hate
cause of death under investigation.
I think I could be
Oh, look at this. Look at this lady. I bet it was a great idea when you made the plans to come to Burning Man.
trapped here for a couple more days.
Lady, wait a second. Well, that's 2023. I guess we don't have a right to know what gender people are. What is this person? I thought it was a lady. I thought this was a lady. What do you guys think?
The height of the storm, the cause of death under investigation.
I think I could be trapped here for a couple
Is that a lady or is that a man?
more days.
Suzanne Ford is among those burners still.
Oh, she's okay. That's a trans woman. Okay, there you go. That's so she's a trans, right? That looks like how do you know from looking? What? What do you mean? How do I know from looking? Well, if she was born a man and now she's living as a woman, are you saying that you can just look at her and tell? Yes.
Still stuck on the playa.
What's it been like?
It's so muddy getting around, like just walking to your tent in the mud is impossible. You know, everybody's putting garbage bags over their shoes or their boots, or they're going barefoot because the mud, you just sink
You idiots.
down into the mud. It's a quagmire. It's debilitating.
Cool electric bike, dude. I bet there was nowhere to charge it, so now you've just got like a super heavy bike that you're lugging around.
Organizers telling all attendees to shelter in
What's going on there?
place
Folding chairs.
and conserve
Cool art, though. Nothing to drink, but cool art. Art will soothe your quench.
food, water,
Will quench your thirst.
and fuel. The entrance to the camp and airport closed. Other than emergency services, no vehicles allowed in or out.
I'm actually going to try to make a break for it. They're saying the gates are still closed, but I've got a four-wheel drive car, and I'm going to try to make it out.
Others finding ways to escape, trudging through the muddy desert. Even comedian Chris Rock and DJ Diplo.
It's muddy still.
This story really upset me when I saw this yesterday. So Chris Rock and Diplo, whoever that is, they were stuck at Burning Man. So they walked like 5 miles and then got picked up by some people in a truck. I mean, I'm glad Chris Rock got rescued, but I'm so upset at Chris Rock for being a Burning Man D-bag. It bugs me.
The performer posting about the ordeal.
I mean, I expect someone who goes by @Diplo to be a Burning Man D-bag, but not Chris Rock.
On
I expect Chris Rock. Look at him. He doesn't even look like he belongs. I expect Chris Rock to be, the guy who makes fun of these guys.
social media.
We walked 3 miles now. We got, I think, 5 more.
Making it out after hiking for miles and then getting picked up by strangers. The storm system causing problems across the state. In Las Vegas, one person has died and dozens rescued amid heavy rain and flash flooding.
Muddy Burning Man.
Back at Black Rock City, people trying to take it all in stride.
Maybe not the Burning Man experience you were expecting?
Well, it's a little bit of like a Raining Man experience.
Instead of a burn, feeling the brunt of a powerful storm.
And Liz, is there any indication when these festival goers will be able to get out?
All right, we're out of this. We don't need that. Just a bunch of rich people having a really rough time. I celebrate. All right, there you go. Burning Man. That's why Burning Man is trending. What else do we have here? Let's see. Truth Social. The former president. We don't like to engage in the politics of it, but Truth Social is trending. Truth Social was created as sort of a social media play by former President Trump. He didn't trust the Facebooks and the Twitters. Remember that whole thing? So he started Truth Social, and it's bankrupt. It's not going to last. There is a merger that needs to be done between Truth Social and some other platform that will save it temporarily, but it is now looking as if that merger will not happen. And Truth Social is believed, you got your Truth Social accounts, because you're going to be locked out as of Friday. Is the end of Donald Trump's Truth Social in sight? If Trump's holding company doesn't complete a merger with Digital World Acquisitions, Truth Social will fold altogether. Truth Social, Donald Trump's attempt to create a right-wing clone of Twitter might be days away from dissolution, the social media platform. But this is what Devin Nunes left Congress for. Remember? I'm gonna turn Truth Social into the biggest social media Oh, Devin. Oh, you should have just stayed in Congress. Unless he was voted out. I don't know. Not up on my Devin Nunes. I just know that he was put in charge of it, and he bankrupted it. The eventual fate of Truth Social was seeded back in October of 2021 when Trump Media and Technology Group, the platform's parent company, announced its plans to merge with Digital World Acquisitions, a Miami-based company. The intent of the merger was for TMTG to go public. Okay, so Trump, they say they want to merge because they want to go public, but the two companies had between 12 and 18 months to complete their merger. However, this has not happened yet. The deadline for the merger to close, which had been extended at least 5 times, is now scheduled for September the 8th. Okay, so that's just in a couple of days. A shareholder meeting has been scheduled for Tuesday, September the 5th. That's tomorrow, in hopes of garnering enough votes to extend the deadline by another year. I don't know what this means, but anyway, there you go. So when people are talking about Truth Social, I don't know. But it does explain why. Didn't Trump recently reappear on like Twitter or something? Didn't he tweet something? I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's move on. We don't like to get into that stuff. Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is trending. Hey, you guys. Did you guys know that Deion Sanders was a football coach? I had no idea. Did you know that Deion Sanders was now the football coach at Colorado? And my God, here's the most interesting thing. Did you guys know that his nickname was, what is it? Prime time? Did you guys know? I am so effing sick of Deion Sanders over there. And it's not because I'm a TCU fan. It's because I have never been a Deion Sanders fan. This guy is the greatest narcissist we've ever seen in professional sports. And, here's the thing. He might also be a really good football coach. He might actually know what he's doing, which drives me nuts because he's a piece of crap human being. He really is. Oh, he's just he's him. I mean, don't even get me wrong. I've been in this town long enough. I've ran across Deion Sanders in too many social situations where there weren't cameras. I know the kind of D-bag he is. Possibly the greatest cornerback in the history of the NFL. And now it looks like he's also a really good football coach. So, but geez, the hammering with the Coach Prime in Colorado, Coach Prime. It's like, stop it. Well, okay, so here's the deal. So they walk in Colorado. He's the new head coach at Colorado. Colorado, once a storied program, has been in, some pretty rough straits the last few years. Deion Sanders, he's down there at Jackson State, right? And then where he was, he's down there at Jackson State, a small school. It's his first job coaching. He does a really good job. So he gets hired at Colorado. Now he's on the big stage. And Deion did a lot of talking when he took over at Colorado. You're going to do it this way. We're going to do it that. He has some real strategies that he is going to implement, and that if the players aren't with him, he felt like half the team left, like a whole bunch, and then he brought in a whole bunch of other players. So Deion Sanders' first test as head coach at the University of Colorado is to come on down here to Fort Worth and play the TCU Horned Frogs, who are ranked 17. They were in the national championship game just last year. And it's expected to be an incredibly difficult test for Deion and his new band of Colorado Buffalo. Well, they won. They shocked the world. They won. Deion Sanders' son, who he made quarterback, which until Saturday's game, I was rolling my eyes about. Of course, the coach's son is quarterback. Well, the coach's son looks like he could be a Heisman candidate if this stuff keeps up. Shakur Sanders is the quarterback of Deion Sanders, coach, University of Colorado. Again, it's like, but man, he had a crazy, that's Deion Sanders is still trending. He's not gracious. He's not, he's a look at me. He's a braggart. Oh, just every bad personality trait that I just abhor in people he's got. But like I say, there are a lot of layers to people. He's undeniably one of the greatest athletes of the past 50 years of American sports. And now it looks like he also might be a great coach. So I don't know. He's also good on TV, right? Wasn't Deion always interesting on TV? That's sort of that brand of narcissism plays well on cameras. Deion Sanders, that's why he is trending. How about Jeannie Buss? Jeannie Buss is trending. And here's why. So do you guys watch Winning Time on HBO? It's a great series. It's a really good series. It's in the second season. I wasn't certain if it was a good series or not because I'm just really interested in the subject matter. It's the story of the Showtime Lakers, Magic and Kareem and Pat Riley and Paul Westhead and, Jerry Buss and Jeannie Buss, the Buss family and how the Lakers became the Lakers of the 80s. It's a really good story. It's, created by Adam McKay, and who was Will Ferrell's partner forever, creating all those great films. Adam McKay, now director on his own, The Big Short, as well as a bunch of other things. It's quality, it's pedigreed is what I'm saying. When you look at the John C. Reilly as Jerry Buss, come on, he's fantastic. Adrian Brody as Pat Riley, it's fantastic. So again, for the first season, I wasn't really sure if it was a good show or if I just loved the content, and that's why I like the show. Here we are. We're about 5 episodes or so into season 2. It's a good show. It's a really good show. And we're starting to see more about Jeannie Buss. Jeannie Buss, who is essentially today in 2023, the person who runs the Los Angeles Lakers, the daughter of Jerry Buss. But we see her back in 1983 when she was grinding it out, doing everything from the Lakers, from scheduling the halftime entertainment to trying to book women's tennis in the Forum. She was really involved. But her dad, Jerry Buss, who loved her dearly, you're my little princess, Jeannie Boo, it was that whole thing, didn't care about her being involved in the business. Jerry Buss only wanted his sons to be involved in, and the daughter was just, Jeannie will get us some coffee. But Jeannie had the best ideas. It's how dads were back in the 80s with daughters. Anyway, Jeannie Buss is trending today. The actress who plays Jeannie Buss in Winning Time is really good. She really makes me feel for her. And because of this, now I think I love Jeannie Buss. And guess what? Jeannie Buss grew up to be kind of hot. For a bunch of years, Jeannie Buss was with Phil Jackson. Remember when Phil Jackson was the head coach of the Lakers? He was in a relationship with Jeannie Buss, and then he took a job in New York to get away from her. At least they were having a bad breakup, and he went, all right, I'm going to go run the Knicks. Jeannie Buss has since hooked up with Jay Moore. Yeah, Jay Moore, comedian, a-hole. I don't like Jay Moore. Jay Moore is someone I've met numerous times. Never liked him. But again, this is going back 20 years, so maybe he's changed. This is a difficult celebrity coupling for me. Jeannie Buss and Jay Moore have gotten married. Congratulations. Remember Jay Moore? So we talked about Jeannie Buss. Jeannie Buss was previously with Phil Jackson. That's interesting. Jay Moore was previously with Nikki Cox. Yeah, Nikki Cox. Remember Nikki Cox from Unhappily Ever After or whatever that show was, the Married with Children clone? Nikki Cox was originally married to Bobcat Goldthwait, and we all went, huh? And then she left Bobcat Goldthwait for Jay Moore, and we went, okay, maybe. Well, Jay Moore's not with Nikki Cox anymore. Now he's with Jeannie Buss. Jeannie Buss and Jay Moore are married. So there you go. Congratulations to those two. They got married in a private ceremony. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Yes, he does. Joe Jonas and Sansa. Any Game of Thrones people? I don't know her real name. What's her name? Sophie Turner. That's it. I couldn't think of her name. Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner, who played Sansa Stark in Game of Thrones, was married to Joe Jonas, who played Joe Jonas in the Jonas Brothers. Joe Jonas, they were married 3 years ago, and now they're getting a divorce because, oh, what a surprise. I mean, I don't know what Joe Jonas is like. He's not Nick Jonas, right? Like, isn't there a Jonas pecking order? There's Nick Jonas, Joe Jonas, and then Glenn Jonas, right? I don't know. Who's the third? Joe Jonas is, I guess, the second one. I guess because Nick Jonas is the star. He's the Michael Jackson. He's the one that came. And Nick Jonas is the one that, you think of first. Then there's Joe. But he's with, okay, so then he gets with Sophie Tucker, who's a British actress, and she's Sansa Stark. And I don't know anything about her other than Sansa, and I know that Sansa would be difficult. So I can totally see how this marriage would fail. Joe Jonas and Sansa Stark. All right, here we go. Here was the big news over the weekend. This was pretty sad. Jimmy Buffett has died. That's right. Jimmy Buffett, billionaire Jimmy, but they keep making that a point, like, because we live in a society where that's the only thing that matters. He's a billionaire. Did you know he was a billionaire? Okay, great. Yeah. Jimmy Buffett, how old was he? 70, I'll tell you, 76. He was 76 years old. Dude died of skin cancer. Well, again, we go back to the expected. Siegfried and Roy were supposed to be eaten by the tigers. Steve Irwin was supposed to have been skewered through the chest by the stingray. And Jimmy Buffett was supposed to have died of skin cancer because his entire brand was being out in the sun and being at the beach and all that stuff. And oh my goodness. Jimmy Buffett seemed like a dude. You know, I have this list of dudes. I'm like, Steve McQueen's a dude. Lee Marvin's a dude. James Coburn's a dude. Chris Christopherson is a dude. I have a list of people who are dudes, who are just like, man, he's a dude. Jimmy Buffett might be that, but here's the problem for me and Jimmy Buffett. Whereas I acknowledge the greatness of songs like Margaritaville, Cheeseburgers in Paradise, It's 5 o'clock somewhere. There's another one. He's got another one that's really beautiful, a really pretty song. It's sort of not like the rest of the Jimmy Buffett stuff. Anyway, I acknowledge that stuff. I've never been a Jimmy Buffett fan. I have never, as a matter of fact, I would just roll my eyes whenever Jimmy Buffett would roll into town. I lived near a concert venue, and it was always like, ugh, God, look at this. A bunch of dentists and accountants getting crazy for 48 hours. That's what Jimmy Buffett was, and it made me, I used to always jokingly say, hey, if you ever wanted to run into your dentist while he's tripping on mushrooms, go to a Jimmy Buffett concert. It just, it was all, and that's nice. Look, I'm being cynical, right? I'm choosing to look at it as cynical. But if there is like one outlet for these people who participate in these men, especially because Jimmy Buffett was a guy thing, these men who grind it out, they're successful, they work hard, they toe the society's line. And then one weekend a year, Jimmy Buffett comes through town, and they put on a giant parrot head and, they walk around shirtless and cutoffs with flip-flops and they do drugs. And that's okay. So that's okay. So he granted them that outlet. And, God bless. Wasn't my thing. I was always very cynical about it. I was always like, geez. Parking lot of a Jimmy Buffett concert, it was always filled with Mercedes and BMWs. And, the tailgates at Jimmy Buffett concerts were always nicer than all the other tailgates because they had money. We're doing steaks. Meanwhile, I'm over at the Smash Mouth tailgate and we're doing hot dogs and fried bologna sandwich. No, they're doing steaks, lobster, whatever. It always just seemed that whole scene just was a little bit cringe to me. But the man himself, I didn't really have a problem with. The man himself, I always thought was pretty cool. He was a guy who liked a particular lifestyle, and he was able to turn that lifestyle into something incredibly lucrative and incredibly beautiful. His life seems to have been great. Jimmy Buffett, the popular singer-songwriter, died on Friday after living with Merkel cell skin cancer for 4 years. Buffett, 76, was well known for his beach-themed soft rock music. You can't love soft rock. You can't love yacht rock. I love yacht rock. Love it. I will say it again. My yacht rock playlist on Spotify has been perfectly curated over the last 3 years to be what I believe the greatest yacht rock playlist in America. So please. Buffett, 76, was well known for his beach-themed soft rock music with hits including Margaritaville and It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere. He continued to perform during treatment, playing his last show, a surprise appearance in Rhode Island, in early July. Skincare. Let's see. Merkel cell carcinoma is a rare form of skin cancer that has a high risk of recurring and can metastasize within 2 to 3 years of being diagnosed. About 3,000 new cases are diagnosed each year. The Mayo Clinic notes that Merkel cell carcinoma most often appears in older people, and the risk of developing it can be increased by long-term sun exposure. That was his life. He chose, that's 76 years. 76 years of Jimmy Buffett's life, probably pretty good. He knew the risks. I don't know what to say. Jimmy Buffett died of skin cancer. Jim Finks, the health nut, the guy who popularized jogging in America, died of a heart attack while jogging. Anyway, there you have it. Jimmy Buffett. He died over the weekend. Here's a story. This is okay. So I want to talk about this story because I read this. This wasn't trending, but it was a headline. So, and I ended up reading it. And here's how it goes. When I'm putting the show together in the morning before we go live, if I spend like 10 minutes reading a story, even if I'll just do it as a news story. And this is one of those. This isn't like a big story, but it's interesting. A wife has been here. I'll read you the story. I'll show you how it plays out because it's fascinating. So this husband, actually, I'll give you the brief rundown. So this husband, he's in the military. He's over there in Germany, and his wife is over there with him. And every morning he's drinking the coffee, and he's like, this coffee tastes funny. So he starts to suspect that his wife is poisoning him. So what he does is he pretends to drink the coffee. And he waits until they come back home to America stateside. So this went on for months. For months, she was like slowly poisoning him. He was right. She was poisoning him. So he set up cameras like in the kitchen so that he could be sure of what she was doing. Oh, God. Arizona woman has been charged with trying to kill her husband by poisoning his coffee. Let's look at her. Let's see if she looks like a crazy lady. I'm looking at her right now. So I'm telling you, she's a crazy lady. I think she looks like I looked at her and I went, oh, yeah, she looks crazy. All right, here we go. She looks like trouble. I'll show you this lady. Boom. Ba-do-gum, boom. Ugh. Yeah, that's it. Give me the pop-up and ruin the whole picture. What the hell? What the fudge? There we go. Okay. Have to get rid of the banner that hangs down. It's all very... All right, there she is. She looks crazy. That's the lady. Here's how it went down. An Arizona woman is accused of attempting to kill her husband by poisoning his coffee every day for months. Melody Felicano Johnson of Tucson was indicted by a grand jury on charges of first-degree attempted murder. Court documents obtained by CNN state the suspect's husband, Robbie Johnson, began noticing a foul taste in his coffee back in March while he and Melody were stationed in Germany. Oh, excuse me. I'm starting to get a little thing in my throat. Robbie Johnson is serving the U.S. Air Force. The statement of probable cause says the Johnsons were still living together with their child, but were going through a divorce. There you go. See, now it's starting to make sense. Robbie Johnson used pool testing strips to discover that his coffee pot showed high levels of chlorine. He allegedly used a hidden camera to discover Melody pouring an unknown substance into the coffee maker. Johnson told investigators that he pretended to continue drinking the coffee so that he could wait until they returned stateside to Davis-Monthan Air Force Base before filing a police report. Okay, so think about this. 2.5 months is the amount of time that they say that he did it here, that he pretended to drink the poisoned coffee. He is living in a house with a woman that he is going through a divorce with, and she is poisoning his coffee every morning. Oh, I gotta get rid of this one. And she is poisoning his coffee every morning. And instead of doing something, the minute he discovers she's poisoning his coffee, he decides to wait it out. Look, apparently it worked out okay for him, so maybe he knows something that I don't, but that is bad advice. If this woman is slowly trying to poison you and you're not drinking it, so it's not working, and you're going to wait a couple of months before you end up back home, don't you think at some point she might go, maybe I should try a different way to kill him? Get out of the house. I mean, you're sleeping. Are you sleeping in the same bed or whatever? You're existing in the same house. You know she's trying to kill you, and you're just going to wait this out because you think you're onto the one way she's trying to kill you. That's the one way you know of. What else is happening, dude? Good Lord, that's bad. I mean, look, it worked out for him. So, like I said, he probably knows her better than I do. But I wouldn't. I'd have been like, okay, I wouldn't get in my car, was cutting the brake lines. You know what I mean? Like, back in the United States, Robbie Johnson said he used multiple hidden cameras over several days, showing Melody taking bleach and pouring it into a container and then walk over and pour it into the coffee maker. Melody Johnson entered a not guilty plea. That's always not guilty. We're watching you on video. Not guilty. All right, so she's in jail, and he survived, which is good. Okay, so here's another story that's trending. Any of you weed heads out there, you feel like maybe you got a weed head disease? Yeah, we'll get rid of her. We don't need to look at her anymore. Apparently, there's a new weed head disease, and coincidentally, it's being treated in states that anything you can charge the health coverage companies for, right? The health insurance companies for. So now now in states where weed is legal, there is now a medical condition that, drugs are being prescribed for. We always used to just call them stoners, but now apparently cannabis use disorder is a thing. That's right. Cannabis use disorder. It's being diagnosed in states where weed is legal because now, nobody's doing anything wrong. And as long as he's doing it, developing cannabis use disorder is relatively common in Washington state. One of the first states to fully what a surprise. What a surprise. It's common in the state where doctors are allowed to figure out a way to make some money off of people who smoke weed. Developing cannabis use disorder is relatively common in Washington state, one of the first states to fully legalize cannabis, and can even occur in people who only use medical marijuana. Oh, yeah. You want to open that revenue stream as well. You just don't want this for people that are, regular stoners and their parents are like, you've got to stop. And their parents are stupid, so they send them to a doctor, and then the doctor diagnoses them with this, and then they get to be on pills forever. Yeah, they're not just going to use that revenue stream. They're also going to go after people. Are you dying of cancer and smoking weed? Do you think your amount of weed is also a problem in your life? There's a perception that people who are using marijuana for medical reasons have a lower risk of cannabis use disorder. There's a lot of stupid perceptions in this world. To have cannabis use disorder, a CUD, they got a cute little name for it, CUD. I suffer from CUD. Please, I'm a victim. I suffer from. I get high a lot. I've suffered from. Do I get a special parking spot for that? No, you shouldn't be driving if you're high. Okay, understood. To have cannabis use disorder or CUD, a person must have 2 or more of the symptoms associated with it. Okay, so here are some of the symptoms. Such symptoms as craving weed. Becoming tolerant. What is it? Using more than intended. Using marijuana even though it causes problems in life. Well, couldn't that be said for anything? I mean, this sounds like they just took the flow chart for, are you an alcoholic? And they just kind of, now we're doing it for weed. Becoming tolerant? That is one of the symptoms of being suffering from cannabis use disorder. A person must have 2 or more of such symptoms as craving weed, becoming tolerant, using more than intended. See, here's the problem with becoming tolerant. You know how I'm like a Nazi when it comes to bad journalism. I have no idea if that's the proper word because I've seen so many examples of the wrong words being used incorrectly by accident that I don't know. How would becoming tolerant be seen as a negative symptom of using cannabis? A person must have 2 or more of such symptoms as craving weed, becoming tolerant, using more than intended, using marijuana even though it causes problems in life, using it in high-risk situations, experiencing withdrawal and being unable to quit, according. You know what the thing about this? I always said this about weed and alcohol. Especially going back to when weed wasn't legal. You had no choices. You had a dealer. You had a weed dealer. Dudes who were super stoners, when they couldn't get weed from their weed dealer, guess what? They weren't stoned. Alcoholics, if you're an alcoholic, you're never going to run out of options to get alcohol. You can run to the corner 7-Eleven, you get a 6-pack if you want. But I always thought, dudes who are so it can't be the same thing. Like I've known dudes who have, dude, I haven't had any weed in a week. And meanwhile, he's like stoned all the time when he has it. He's not going into convulsions. He's not having DDT. He's irritable. He's irritable because he wants to be high. I mean, I don't know. The main take-home message of the study on cannabis use disorder is that it is common among primary care patients in a state with legal cannabis use. I don't know what any of this means. Anyway, it's a nonsense new thing that they've put a label on so that they can write prescriptions for it. Now, there isn't a specific drug yet used to treat cannabis use disorder, but you can best well believe that there will be one. There will be a new drug, and it will be used to treat this new label and this new disease, cannabis use disorder. We used to just call them stoners and potheads, and they weren't stoners and potheads when they couldn't get weed from their dealer. Then they just became dirt bags. Powerball is trending. Powerball is trending again. That's different than the Mega Millions, right? Mega Millions was the really big one. Okay, Powerball is becoming a really big one. We like to throw these out there just to get you guys ahead of the curve. Start buying your tickets now. Tonight's Powerball drawing is up to $435 million. That's right. We're encroaching upon the $500 million mark with the Powerball. Saturday's Powerball was $420 million. No winners. No winners. So there you go. So if you want to get a Powerball ticket, get on out there and get yourself a Powerball ticket. All right. Running out of time. We're not running out of time. I'm just running out of stories. Guys, it was Labor Day. There's not a whole lot of stories. It's not a whole, you know what I mean? You look at your news today and it's just all a bunch of people you've never seen before. I'll tell you, you see at any point today, if you see Anderson Cooper, or you see a Brett Baer, or I don't know, Rachel Maddow, you see them pop on your screens at any point today, something big is happening because those people are all out on their boats today. Those people are not coming into the office unless it's something big. So it's all about, this is, it's like end of the season for baseball. This is like where the network news and the cable news, they all bring up their AAA guys. They give them a little bit of something. You want to try an anchor person no one's ever seen before? Go ahead. You get 3 hours in the middle of the day on Labor Day. That's what you're seeing. Here, I wanted to go through these. These are fun. Again, we're out of stories. I'm gonna jump back into this. So we'll see if there's something more because I want to keep going. Still haven't received a tip. There's still no show tomorrow. We got no tips yet today. Remember the other day? So this started a couple of days ago when it was it would have been like Elvis's 88th birthday or something like that. And they released an AI generated picture of what Elvis would have looked like, right? If he was still alive. And we were all like, that doesn't look like Elvis. And then what, a couple of days later, they gave us another one. I don't remember who it was, with like, hey, this is Michael Jackson. It was Michael Jackson. This is what Michael Jackson would look like. And he looked like really scary and these. So anyway, apparently this AI computer is out there and it's making all kinds of pictures of people who died young, celebrities who died young, and they're updating them. So I thought we could go through some of them here at the end of the show. It's Labor Day. Let's see some of these. Here's the first one I'm going to show you. Okay. This is going to be an AI rendition of what the AI believes James Dean would look like in 2023. I don't think James Dean would still have that haircut. Do you think he would? I think James Dean might look completely different than he did back then. That's the problem with these AI things. If you look at a picture of, try to think of somebody who was alive in 1950. Yeah, I don't know. You look at a picture of somebody in 1950 and then you look at them in 2023, they don't look anything like what they used to look like. Their fashion is different. Their hair is different. Maybe they've got beards now, whatever. These AI, the problem with AI is that they just take what the person last looked like and they go, yeah, they probably will never choose a new haircut because the AI has no information to be able to make that. All they can do is go on the information that they have, which is what his hair looked like when he died. So there you go. So there's that. That looks okay. I mean, it's just the same picture with some wrinkles. That's what we're dealing with here. All right, let's scroll through. There's a bunch more. All right, next one. Who is this? Tupac. All right, look at Tupac looking like a Jedi. Why? How old would Tupac be? So I get it. So some of these are aging them even older than they would actually be today. Because Tupac's like my age. And that dude looks like, he's at least 70, right? Maybe. All right, so there you go. That's what Tupac would look. Gen X icon, Tupac. All right, who else do we got here? Mama Cass Elliott. This is a pretty good one from the Mamas and the Papas. It's a pretty good one. I can see this one. Like, that definitely looks like what I could see if she was still alive. Died eating a ham sandwich. That's not true. That is the story, but that's not true. How about Montgomery Clift? Nobody knows who Montgomery Clift is, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here. But again, basically looks like they just took the picture of him from the 1950s and updated it. Grace Kelly. This is the one I don't get. I don't get this one. Okay, so here's Princess Grace. Grace Kelly, American actress turned Princess of Monaco. This is Grace Kelly. So this is what Grace Kelly would have looked like if she reached this age. She did reach that age. We know what she looked like when she died. That picture on the right isn't like an AI rendering. It's just a picture of Princess Grace when she died. That's about the age she was. What are you going to do? Anyway, who else do we have here? How about Natalie Wood? Oh, this is a creepy one. Look at Natalie Wood. Look at that. Oh my God. Look at the old lady on the right. Yeah, you could totally go, it's them eyes. It's them Natalie Wood eyes. Piercing. All right, how about Audrey Hepburn? Here's another one I don't get. Audrey Hepburn did die old. We did know what Audrey Hepburn looked like. Hold on. How old was Audrey Hepburn when she died? 70? How old was Audrey Hepburn when she died? Okay, she was 63. Okay, she was younger than I thought. All right, so maybe she didn't get to be this old. Yeah. Although, can we just, for a minute, just kind of like look at that picture on the left? Man, that's like the most beautiful woman in history. Yeah, she's my number one. I think Audrey Hepburn is the most beautiful woman in history. Unbelievable. How about Dana Plato? Huh? Look at Dana Plato from Kimberly from Different Strokes. That's what AI says she would look like today if she was still bouncing around. I could date that. If Dana Plato was still living. I should be so lucky to have somebody who's that attractive. Look at her. Dana Plato looking good. She's dead. Jane Mansfield. Okay, Jane Mansfield. Now, who's Jane Mansfield? Jane Mansfield was sort of like the Pepsi to Marilyn Monroe's Coke back in the days, right? Marilyn Monroe was like, look at me. And then there was Jane Mansfield, who was sort of like, is Marilyn available? And they'd be like, no, she's not. And they'd be like, get me Mansfield. And so she was second. Mariska Hargitay, from Law and Order, SVU or whatever. Mariska Hargitay is her daughter. That's Mariska Hargitay's mom. Right here, Jane Mansfield. And she died. She got her head cut off in a car accident. Apparently, Mariska Hargitay was in the back seat and the head rolled into the baby seat. I don't know if it was a baby seat. I don't think they had baby seats back then. That's a terrible story. It's been going around Hollywood forever. And I have no clue if it's true or not. But it's true that Jane Mansfield's head got lopped off in a car accident. It is not, I don't know that it's true that Mariska Hargitay was in the back seat and her mom's head landed in her lap. How about Whitney Houston? All right. How old was Whitney when she died? Like 50? Isn't that weird? Isn't Whitney Houston like, well, I guess we've seen it before. We've seen it with Britney too. Like, Whitney Houston is kind of like Britney Spears in that Britney Spears' entire brand, what was sold to us, the bill of goods that we signed off on, was that Britney Spears was a virgin and she was innocent and she was a Christian Southern girl and she just did everything right. She's like the perfect girl, but also she's really, really sexy and you're going to want her, but you can't touch her because she's Britney Spears and she is untouchable because she is perfection. That was all bullshit. We all learned that was bullshit right away. She's promiscuous. She was crazy. She loves drugs. She loves parties. I mean, all of that. Whitney Houston was kind of like that too. Whitney Houston was sold to us as, perfection. Like, oh, she's a good girl. Look at her. Like her first album, she wasn't sexy. She was wearing like a sweater. She looked like a girl who sat next to you in math class in high school. The pretty girl that smelled good. She looked like she smelled good. And then it turns out Whitney Houston was just, man, she was like, give me some of that crack, Bobby. She was like way into all kinds of stuff that we didn't know about. We thought she was one thing. Whitney Houston's private life, she was something else. But that's fine. Live your life. I don't know if that makes her a bad person, but Marilyn Monroe. That's what Marilyn Monroe would look like according to AI. These are all AI interpretations of what dead celebrities would look like today. Jackie Kennedy Onassis. This is another one that's BS. Jackie Kennedy, wasn't she like 80 when she died? That's what she looked like with AI. This is just fluffernutter. We don't need to see an AI rendering of what Jackie O looked like when she died. How old was Jackie O when she died? Hold on. How old was Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis when she died?
According to Wikipedia,
damn.
Jacqueline Lee Kennedy Onassis was an American socialite, writer, photographer, and book editor who served as the First Lady of the United States from 1961 to 1963 as the wife of President John F. Kennedy.
Okay, never mind. Jesus, I just asked how old she was, dude, and you gave me her whole biography. I know it's your birthday, Google, but what the... She was 64. Oh my God, was I wrong? I thought when Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis died, I was like in my 20s, and I just thought she was super old. She was only 64. I thought, to me, she was super old already. I thought she died at like 80 or 90. She was only 64. Okay, so there you go. Maybe that is an interesting picture of what she would look like as a much older woman. John F. Kennedy. Oh, look at him. Yeah, he looks grizzled. John F. Kennedy. If John F. Kennedy had lived, look at him. That's what he would look like today. Yeah, that tracks. I could see that. The grizzled old. Yeah, there you go. What else do we got? Sharon Tate. Damn. Okay, so let's have a moment here to talk about Sharon Tate, because nobody knows who Sharon Tate is. Sharon Tate was killed by the Manson family. She was pregnant. She was an actress. She was living with her boyfriend, Roman Polanski, who was out of town at the time, director Roman Polanski. Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate, I never really knew much about Sharon Tate until I saw Margot Robbie play her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie. And I was just like, wow. First of all, it sold me on Margot Robbie. I was like, Margot Robbie really is something. She is not just a Jenna Presley clone. I always thought that Margot Robbie was like, oh, they can't use Jenna Presley for shit anymore because she's too old. So they went and they got the young one. And that's what I thought she was. But no, Margot Robbie is like, is it Jenna Presley? Jenna Presley? What's her name? Who's that? Who's the chick? Wasn't she on My Name is Earl? Brittany Presley? Whatever. She's very hot and she looks like Margot Robbie, but Margot Robbie's way more talented. I can't even think of her name. Anyway, Sharon Tate. So I got into a little bit of Sharon Tate after seeing that movie to try and learn about her and all that. She was a struggling actress, you know. I don't know. There's not much to learn about her other than, wow, she was really hot. Sharon Tate was super hot. There she is on the left. And that's what the AI says she would look like today. And I could date that. I mean, she's like 30 years older than me, I think, but whatever. Sharon Tate still looking good. Still looking good. Oh, here's a scary one. This is Judy Garland. This is scary. I don't know when. Judy Garland died at 47. Okay, so she didn't live long. So Judy Garland, of course, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and, you know, I don't know, icon in gay cabarets forever. Judy Garland, here she is as an old lady. Oh, man, that's pretty scary. That's pretty, but you can see it though, can't you? Like on the right, like I can totally see that's Jamie Presley. Jamie Presley. Thank you, Jeff. Jamie Presley is the one that they looked at back at the Hollywood Clone Factory. And they went, you know what? Is there any way we could cram some more talent into this model? And they said, well, we're working on an Australian version and she's going to be wildly talented. Let's do it. And that's how we got Margot Robbie. They put Jamie Presley back. They released Jamie Presley 2.0 and they called her Margot Robbie. All right, so that's going to be Judy Garland. I think she's the last one. Is she the last one? Yeah, Judy Garland. That's the last. Oh, no, wait. Judy Garland wasn't the last one. Hold on. Judy Garland was just the scary one. It's just the one that makes me want to stop. There's Whitney. There's Jackie O. JFK. Thought there were no more. Sharon Tate. Va-va-voom. Look at those eyes. Sharon Tate had like those eyes. They're just like big sad eyes. Like the whole time, they're like you could never please her. Men find that attractive. Men find sad eyes that look like they can never be pleased to be attractive. Heath Ledger. Here's Heath Ledger. Look at him. It kind of looks like Richard Harris. I could see that. A man called Ledger. There he is. John Lennon. Oh, this one I love. Look at John Lennon. He looks like a Fraggle. He looks like a Muppet. I could totally see that. How great would that be? Have this version of John Lennon and Bob Dylan walking out on stage together? That's pretty cool. Look at him. John Lennon looks like someone from the Road Warrior, right? He looks like somebody. That's a cool one. I like that one. Thank you, AI. That one's fun. Karen Carpenter. One of the biggest music stars of the 1970s. Endless #1 hits on the radio all the time. Starved herself to death. She had bulimia. Nobody, I would say that Karen Carpenter is probably the most responsible for the understanding and discussion surrounding eating disorders and all that kind of stuff. She died very young, starved herself, died of bulimia. There she is. Was it bulimia? It might have been anorexia. I'm not sure. It was an eating disorder. There she is on the right, looking alive. Princess Diana. Well, let's see what Princess Diana, according to AI. Look at her. She's the same course. Princess Diana never got a new haircut. Princess Diana would have had a whole bunch of different haircuts. Princess Diana would have been rocking the Aniston at some point. You just know it. You just know she was fashionable. She wouldn't have had the same haircut. Let's see. And then we saw the Elvis Presley ones. Okay, so that's going to be that with that. All right, folks, that's pretty much it. That is it. Let me see. Let me jump over. Let me see if there's anything new that we can riff on. Still have not received any tips today. That's not boding well for the coming month, but we will see. We will move forward. All right. Should I go to Twitter? It's always like Twitter. Well, am I going to Twitter? Twitter trends have not been great over the past 6 months or so. They stopped being good. They were never good. Although I will say in the early goings of this show, I used to rely a lot on Twitter trends because I thought that, but Twitter trends, as it turns out, are really stupid. And now whenever I open up my Twitter trends, you know what I get? I get nothing but trends that appeal to me. And I don't like that. And Byron's like, it's because it's on the For You, or it's because of... No, it's not. I'm not an idiot. I've been on Twitter forever. I know what I'm doing. The algorithm is now the most accessible trends that I see first. The algorithm is now force feeding me shit it thinks I want to know about. It doesn't understand that I look at trends as a way of discovering things I don't know about. So give me all of the stuff that I don't know about the way you used to. Currently, according to my page, the top things trending in the world are Bears general manager Ryan Poles, DJ Moore, Bears wide receiver, the Chicago White Sox, who are losing in an absolutely meaningless game to the Kansas City Royals, is trending #3. Really? That's what the entire world is talking about? Twitter, bring my trends back. Here we go. See, now I have to, it's still there. I can still find the real trends. I just have to click an extra button. And we're very lazy in 2023. Clicking an extra button is... Labor Day is trending #1. Steve Harwell, we talked about him. Smash Mouth, he's trending. I don't know what Pepito is. I don't know what that is. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff I don't know about. Jean Jacket. Jean Jacket is trending. Shall we? All right. Is this probably the name of some rapper I don't know about? I don't know what Jean Jacket is. All right, never mind. Apparently it's not about a jean jacket. I happen to own 4 jean jackets. That's right. You know why? Because when you buy a jean jacket in 1992, they're pretty durable and they can sit on a hanger for 30 years. And then one day in 1998, you might be at a Gap and you're like, hey, you know what would go good with that shirt? This jean jacket. So now you have another jean jacket. And guess what? That jean jacket also sits on a hanger in the back of the closet for a couple of decades when you find yourself at, a Nordstrom's outlet and you see a really cool stonewashed jean jacket. And then you buy that one as well and you wear it a couple of times. I have a lot of jean jackets is my point. And my appreciation for the jean jacket has been ruined by my friend Aaron Sockwell, who years ago, when I purchased not one but two jean jackets at the same time, he looked at me and said, "Jean jackets look awful on you. You should never wear a jean jacket." He put that in my head. One of my best friends put that in my head, knowing that I have a collection of jean jackets. He now is making me walking around. Every time I put my jean jacket on, I'm going, wait, is he right? But then I also have to realize, wait a second, he's Aaron, and all he does is try and poison my mind. That's our relationship. We screw with each other with that stuff. So I have no idea if I look good in jean jackets or not. Here's my other problem with jean jackets. I have one jean jacket that I really like to wear, but I'm always confused about what I'm supposed to wear on the bottom half when I'm wearing a jean jacket on the top half. Like if I'm wearing a nice jacket, and I'm not talking about 1970s, man, I can't find my smokes, teenager jean jacket. I'm talking like they're cool jackets. They look good. They're different colors and they match with the shirts you're wearing under it. Anyway, I'm always confused about what I'm supposed to wear from the waist down because I don't want to wear one of those Texas tuxedos. I don't want to wear like blue jeans with a jean jacket and then your dress shirt underneath, and then I'm starting to look like a cliche. So I always think, okay, so what do you wear with jean jackets? Can I wear shorts? Probably not. And that's why I've got 4 jean jackets in the back of my closet that I don't know what to do with. No idea. You go back and if you look at some of the earliest episodes of this show before I was wearing the uniform is the black shirt, black hat. Before I adopted this as an everyday uniform, you go back and you look at some of the earlier shows, and what you will see is me modeling a bunch of jean jackets because it's the only place I could wear them. I'm like, I don't want to wear these outside. I don't know if people think I'm a dork or not, but hey, it looks good with this shirt, so let's put it on. Anyway, jean jackets is trending, and not for that reason. Nobody cares about my issues with jean jackets. All right, let's go to Google Trends. Let's see what it's Google's birthday. Let's see what they got trending. Google Trends. These are the up-to-the-minute things that the whole globe is talking about, and it's usually soccer. It's usually going to be like first 20 things. Soccer, Eastern European rugby. NASCAR number 1. NASCAR is trending at number 1 right now. I don't know why. I don't care. What else do we got? Oh, no, never mind. That's not trending number 1. Sorry, I need real time. What is trending in real time? Oh, Julio Urias, Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher. Okay, here we go. We got some breaking news here. Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias has been arrested. I'm not really all that familiar with this guy. I know his name. Los Angeles Dodgers starter Julio Urias was arrested on felony domestic violence charges late Sunday. Los Angeles police told ESPN the second domestic violence arrest in the past 4 years for the soon-to-be free agent pitcher. Urias, 27, well, I'm sure the White Sox will add him to their Mike Clevenger starting 5 of men who throw hands at women. No, we got rid of Clevenger. Urias, 27, was arrested just after 11 p.m. Pacific time and booked into jail around 1 a.m. According to jail records, he was released on $50,000 bond at 4:47 a.m. and has a court date of September 27th. Okay. In 2019, Urias was arrested on suspicion of domestic battery. While he was eventually not charged, he received a 20-game suspension under Major League Baseball's domestic violence policy. No MLB player has been suspended twice for violating the policy since its institution in 2015. Major League Baseball is investigating the case, a source said. Players charged with domestic violence typically are placed on administrative leave by the league. Urias had been one of the best starters in baseball over the past 3 years, peaking last season with a National League best 2.16 ERA and third place in the Cy Young. On the cusp of free agency, he has, not good, because free agency is supposed to, but cost you some money. Athletes, what are you going to do? I told you I'm rewatching the O.J. Simpson thing. And by the way, again, I don't know if my guy Ed can help with this. I don't know. Does anybody know where a guy like me can see The People versus O.J. Simpson, the miniseries created by Ryan Murphy, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and the miniseries? I can't. Used to be on Netflix. I went to go find it on Netflix, but apparently Ryan Murphy has now left Netflix and taken his big bag of stuff with him. I don't know where he's going, but I can't find The People versus O.J. Simpson anywhere, and it's really good. And I haven't seen it in like 10 years. And my kids kind of got it, and I'm like, maybe we could start watching this as a thing. All right, there you have it. So Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias, I don't know, has been busted. Steve Harwell, we talked about that. Rafael Nadal, he's over there. Rafael Nadal, the tennis, there's something going on. Davis Cup. I don't know what's going on with tennis. I don't follow tennis. Do you people follow tennis? Don't. This is not the place for tennis. Yeah, nothing. All right, I got nothing else. Labor Day 2023. Okay, some freebies. All right, there's some freebies. All freebies now involve downloading the app. So yeah, I always take advantage of it because I'm frugal, because this show runs on your tips, and tips have not been great, but I would like to thank the people who have tipped. We still need a little bit more money here to get through this month. And then I'll lay low for 2 weeks. And then, I'll start to remind you again that the show runs on your tips. Labor Day freebies. I get a lot of freebies. I do a lot of, and it's always like, download the app. So you got to download the app, and then you get the freebie, and then you just get rid of the app because it's like, I'm never going to use this app again. Let's see. So let's do some Labor Day freebies. What do we got here? Several chains and franchises are offering free food and deals on Monday. Do you know that every Tuesday I have a Taco Bell app for one reason and one reason only, because every Tuesday I get free taco. Just go through. Hey, it's Tuesday. I'm going to go get them. Got to order it on the app, though. It's the only way. And then you go through the drive-thru. They're like, what do you want? And I'm like, free taco. And they're like, did you get in the app? I'm like, yep. They're like, what's your number? And I tell them the number, and I drive through. They hand me a taco. I go home. I eat the taco. It's free. Labor Day 2023 freebies. How to get free food and deals from 7-Eleven, Carvel, and more. I'm gonna scream if they give me another pop-up. Several chains and franchises are offering free food and deals on Monday to get into the holiday spirit. Let's see. Here are some deals and freebies you can get on and around today, September the 4th. 7-Eleven. Today, you walk into a 7-Eleven, you buy a small Slurpee drink and get a free bottle of vitamin water with 0 sugar. No, thank you. No, thank you. First of all, if I'm buying a Slurpee, I'm not buying a small Slurpee. So I have to get a small Slurpee. If I want a Slurpee, I'm one of these guys. I have maybe 5 Slurpees a year. If that, I'd probably say it's closer to 3. Let's say I have 3 Slurpees a year. I'm getting the large Slurpee. I don't go in and get the small. But anyway, if you do, you get a free vitamin water. The chain is also offering deals on snacks. 2 pigs in a blanket for $3.49, plus 7 select tortilla chips and mini donuts each for $1. Mini donuts for $1. That intrigues me. I'm intrigued by the mini donuts for $1. Not so much these 7-Eleven tortilla chips or 2 pigs in a blanket for $3.49. Is that 7-Eleven roller food? Nope. No, thank you. You know what, though? I will eat racetrack roller food. For some reason, I think racetrack roller food, those little like, hey, get a steak and cheese taquito. Those seem to be okay. Racetrack, but I don't like the looks of 7-Eleven roller food. All right, there you go. That's what you get at 7-Eleven today. How about Auntie Anne's? What do I got to go to a mall? I got to go to a mall to get something stupid from Auntie Anne's? Isn't that a pretzel place? Auntie Anne's, purchase of $30 in... get out of here. I'm going to Auntie Anne's and spending $30? Bar Louie. Okay? Bar Louie. Get a half-price martini. Nope, not interested. Carvel. Here's Carvel. Do we even have Carvel in Texas? We don't have... Cheesecake Factory. I know we got a Cheesecake Factory. If you buy a $50 gift card online from the Cheesecake Factory, you'll get a $10 bonus e-card. So get a $50 gift card. Oh, man. Cinnabon. I like Cinnabon. I love Cinnabon, as a matter of fact. Cinnabon is one of those things that I can probably only have once every couple of years. They are so sweet. From now through September the 4th, every 30... Okay, these suck. Ain't nobody going and spending $30 at Cinnabon. What the hell's wrong with you? Firehouse Subs. You can get a free medium sub when you buy a medium or large sub, chips, and a drink in the restaurant only today. All right, that might be good. Okay, so, but I would never buy chips from there or a drink. I would just get a sandwich. Hooters. Going to Hooters. At Hooters, if you order any 10 wings of your choice, you can get another 10 wings for free at participating restaurants. This offer is valid all of Labor Day weekend when you dine in. So we don't even know if they're participating here, and you got to dine in. Insomnia cookies, Jamba Juice. KFC, here you go. Jamba Juice. They want you to spend $25 in a gift card. You'll get $5 reward card if you do. KFC, you can buy 10 KFC nuggets for $5. Okay. That sounds like a deal. 10 KFC nuggets for $5. You can also get the $20 fill-up box with 4 pieces of chicken on the bone, 12 nuggets, fries, 4 biscuits, and 4 dipping sauces of your choice. For $20? I don't want to spend $20 at KFC. I mean, I could eat $20 at KFC. I love KFC. I think KFC is fantastic. Original recipe. Don't waste my time with the original recipe is what I want. It's crispy enough, the original. Krispy Kreme's giving away, is releasing a strawberry glazed donut for purchase in store. That's it. That's your deal, Krispy Kreme. We got a new donut. Come on, fatty, eat it. It's not like specially priced or you're giving away. You're just announcing that you have a new donut. And it's a strawberry glazed donut. Like, ooh, you're really pushing the envelope of donut crafting there, Krispy Kreme. Mrs. Fields is going to give you 20. We're done. These are stupid. These are like the worst Labor Day deals ever assembled. But look at me. I'm just desperately trying to keep going here. Because you know what the rest of my Labor Day is? Pearl clutching and kicking wall. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what the rest of my day is going to be. Probably. We might be back tonight. I don't know if the boys will be back tonight, but I'm pretty much homebound and it's super hot out. So I'm going to be staying with the air conditioning. Got a couple other things that I need to do, but I think I'm going to be doing a show tonight. So we might just be doing a Radio Misfits with just me, maybe me and James. I don't know. Maybe it won't even be a Radio Misfits. Maybe it'll just be a special little thing because I don't want to start. You know, what else am I going to do? If we want to hang out and do something fun, maybe we get together and do something fun. All right, that's it. That's it for all of that stuff. See if there's anything. There's no news today. It's hard to do this. I've done 2 hours plus. We're good. I feel like I've come through. All right, folks. That's going to do it. Like I said, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and I'll come back a little bit later. We'll do something else. If not a Radio Misfits show with James, then just me or whatever. I don't know. Is that right? Like, right, I'm thinking like if I did a Radio Misfits show tonight at 9:00 without the other guys, I mean, I'm not Radio Misfits. So me representing it, yeah, maybe I'll just do a Pugs stream. You know, I was like, I don't want to, that's a collection. There is no, let's see here. Oh, so I wanted to tell you, so this weekend we were driving and I was picking my kid up from the rec center. There we go. I have got my poetry. I was picking my kid up from the rec center. And we were listening to the radio, and they were talking about Jimmy Buffett. And I turned to my kid, and I go, oh, yeah, Jimmy Buffett died. My kid's 14. And although he knows a lot about music and, you know, all that stuff that I've introduced him to, I've never introduced him to Jimmy Buffett because, as I said, I'm not like a crazy Jimmy Buffett fan. Closest we got to Jimmy Buffett was the Eagles. Like, my son knows all about the Eagles. That was very early on. That's very, if you're trying to introduce your son to, you know, simple songwriting, American culture, and all that kind of stuff. You want to introduce them to rock and roll. Eagles, Beatles, Eagles. That's it. Those songs are catchy. Little kids like them. They're great. But we never got into Buffett. Eagles, closest thing that we've gotten to the Buffett kind of thing. So we're driving. I pick him up and I go, yeah, Jimmy Buffett died. And he turns to me and he goes, I love that dude's restaurant. Like, that's what he knew Jimmy Buffett from. Apparently, he was in Florida and he went to a Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville or one of his. I thought that was funny. then I played, we went to Spotify on our ride home. I'm like, well, you should probably know that he was more than just a guy who made, buffalo wings by the beach in Florida or wherever the hell you were when you were at his place. So we started playing, and I played Margaritaville for him. I played Cheeseburger in Paradise for him. And I don't know, I think the one other song. He was, again, this is why I like to play these things for my 14-year-old son, because on the one hand, I trust that he knows music, like he's decent about music, like he's not like, that music sucks because it ain't my generation. He ain't one of those people. He's like, yeah, man, that's catchy. I like that chorus. That chorus is great. He's like that. I mean, his music of taste is basically video game music and hip hop. Like that's what he chooses, but he's so open-minded with other things. Dude, he loved Margaritaville. He had heard Margaritaville. He's like, oh, I know this song. This song is good. And he's singing the chorus. And then Cheeseburger in Paradise. We had cheeseburgers on Saturday night because of that. He's like, we should have cheeseburgers. I go, yeah, we will. I was thinking that myself. I'm going to make some cheeseburgers tonight. So that's kind of, good music is good music. Good music gets branded an incorrect way by people with ulterior motives. People are like, this is not cool music. No, music is music. Let it affect you. If you like it, you like it. Don't let other people. My kid, 14-year-old kid, he's probably walking around humming Jimmy Buffett songs. He's probably the only kid in North Texas doing that today. He's not. He's probably walking around spitting little baby lyrics because let's be honest. That's what he's about. I also got my son's official football picture today. He had his football team pictures, and Mama sent it to me, and she's like, look at him. I'm like, ooh, my 14-year-old son it's cool. It's a cool picture. He's in his uniform and he's got this cool ass backdrop. When I used to do football pictures, it was just me in a field holding a ball and the back. Now, like the background, it's like a poster. It's got his name and his position. It looks like a poster. It looks like something really cool. Man, he's 14 years old. He's got a mustache. He's like got that dirt puberty mustache that he's growing. I'm like, oh man, you gotta not have that. I don't like that. Anyway, pretty much done. I got nothing else. I'm pushing. Trying to spend as much time with you as I can. Hey, you know what, you guys? A little bit smaller show than normal. But dude, thank you. You guys just hanging out. So you guys, I'm seeing all the familiar. I'm seeing my gang, man. My gang showed up today. Thank you so much. All right, we're out of here. See you in a few hours. I'll pop back on. I'll do something tonight. Maybe full Radio Misfits. Maybe not. Love you all. Tip the show if you can, man. We're trying to get across the finish line. If there's anything you do, be greatly appreciated. And then we'll lay off on that nonsense for a while. All right, love you guys. Bye.
Multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.